is going on, everybody? The band is back together. We are live. This is podcast 129. I am Hunter Waldrop. That is Jake Stinchcomb. And Mr. Tyler Vaughn is back. Fellas, how we doing?
Baby. Good, man. How are you doing? Everything good? Finals done?
We're done. Done with school for the semester.
I haven't even started finals yet.
Yeah, because you're on that Kentucky system over there.
Yeah, really. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That might be more messed up than the football program at the University of Kentucky right now. Jake, finals done?
Yeah, finished last night. Had a 7 p.m. final. All day I was stressed. I wasn't going to be able to watch the Hawks in the play-in tournament. Turns out I didn't miss anything because it was just belt to ass against the Knicks. So Hawks advance in the end-season cup, baby. But, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, I don't care about the NBA. But let's hop right into it. No fancy slides today. Just three guys on the screen.
Ball talk, baby.
Talking a little ball.
I just want to shout out Tyler looks great, right? The hair's gone, trimmed up the beard a little bit. He knows it too. He's got that hat on backwards with the swag. Looks good, man.
Oh yeah, come on, appreciate you.
Keep glazing them, please. All right, so guys, the college football playoff bracket, it's here. It's here, and this is what it looks like. I have a few concerns about the format. I'm sure we can get into that. Jake, how do you feel about the auto buys? How do you feel about the 12-team playoff in general now that it's like actually here? Like, in theory, it's all been like, we're going to have 12 teams. It's going to be good. It's just like any other playoff system. But now that it's here, I need your thoughts on just the formatting and what you think about this bracket.
Yeah, I have a love-hate relationship with the format, with the bracket, the whole thing. When I would say back in probably it's December 12th now, I would say October, beginning of November, the discussion we were talking about was you're going to have 5 to 6 10-2 SEC teams like LSU and A&M was a conversation for the freaking SEC championship, Georgia and Texas. That wasn't being talked about, right? And so with that, what I'm saying is that in that moment, I was like, this is sweet. The SEC is going to end up with 5 or 6, and then you're going to have Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State. Like, it was going to be the best 12 teams. I don't think anybody can say that these are the best 12 teams in college football right now. I think there's 4 or 5 teams, Miami, Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina, sitting at home watching. They deserve to be in it. So it's not the 12 best teams, which sucks because I truly believe like any of the 4 teams that I just named, maybe 3, besides from South Carolina, could go on a run and knock some names off in this bracket. Like all 4 teams would beat Arizona State, would probably beat Boise, would probably beat SMU, Indiana. So it's fun. Like, I'm glad it's here. But me personally, I think 12 is too much. I think 6 is perfect. I think that's the perfect amount. 4 might be a stretch. Each year you have 2 teams on the outside looking in with an argument. So I think 12 is too much personally. But this is sick. We do get some cool matchups like Tennessee, Ohio State's going to be sick. I saw Penn State announce they're doing a wideout. Notre Dame getting a home game. That's pretty historical. I think that's on a Friday night too. Standalone game.
Yes.
And then Clemson, Texas. I love that matchup too. So it's cool. I mean, it's going to work out good because, Ohio State and Tennessee are kind of getting screwed over for their path. They win, and then they have to play Oregon. But as far as like Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, Penn State, the best teams have a path. But I still think, if we had 16, it'd be perfect because then you'd really have the best teams in there. That's 4 teams I named who I think are better than almost half of the teams on this bracket would be in. So love-hate relationship with it. I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it plays out. But I'll let y'all – I could keep talking about it all day. The one thing I will say, Oregon, it's got to be fixed because Oregon, they're going to have to play Tennessee or Ohio State in their round 1 when Georgia's going to play – or we'll go to Boise State's going to play Penn State. Or the winner of Texas Clemson has to play Arizona State. That's not nowhere near what Oregon's going to have to do coming off of 3 weeks of rest. So we'll see.
Tyler?
I think it was Nick Saban that said you should just seed it 1 through 12 and have those be the seeds, and the top 4 seeds get a bye. I don't like the automatic conference championship bid. I I don't know. I don't think Arizona State is a team that should have a first round bye. I don't think Boise State is a team that should have first round bye. There's other teams that are way better than those two in this bracket and outside of it. I think that deserve a bye more than they do. Hats off to the teams that did get one though. They knew the format. They did what they had to do. But I think I agree with the whole just seed it 1 through 12 and the top 4 teams get a bye and then the rest of them let it play out the rest of the way.
Yeah. Well, sorry.
Go ahead, Jake.
I was just gonna say I like the 1 through 12 thing. That makes perfect sense. I will say this. I do agree personally with automatic bids just into the playoff. I'm not saying a bye if you're Arizona State, if you're Boise State. Now Boise State's different because they're not Power 4, but if Boise State's in the top 12 and they win their conference, yeah, they need to be in. But Arizona State, even if they're 12, it says right there in Clemson, they're 16. What was I going to say? Sorry.
No, you're good.
I got distracted looking at these numbers in the parentheses. I still think if you win your conference and you're a Power 4 team, you deserve to get in. I just don't think the buys are necessary. And if you're like Boise State, like I said, if you're in the top 12 and you win your conference, all right, you're in.
So a few key points that I just want to note out. I think the biggest mistake was jumping from 4 to 12. Like you got to experiment 6 or at least 8 teams before you do a 12 team. I think that was where it first went wrong. Like it's obviously all about the money. That's why they went to 12. It's all about the TV revenue, all that junk. So I think they should have gone to 6 first, like you said, Jake. I think 6 is the right number because there's not 12 teams deserving. There was nothing wrong. Like, try and tell me that even if they I personally think Georgia and Oregon should just fight it out. Like, that should just be the national championship game.
BCS style, baby.
Yeah, bring it back.
Kind of BCS style with a little tweak in it. But yes, I think that should just have been the national championship game. But let's say that, that's not the case and you want to still do 4. Okay. What's wrong with having Oregon, Georgia, Texas, and Notre Dame or / Penn State? I feel like all 5 of those teams, and then if you want to throw like a Tennessee or an Ohio State in there, like there, you got your 6 teams. Like everybody else on this list can kind of be excluded from that because I think it's a waste of time. But it's all about the TV money. I do want to say this to all the stupid Gump fans out there, aka the Alabama Rednecks. I do want to say this: the playoff committee didn't snub you out. You're actually ranked the 11th best team in the country. They did. It's not that they did not, say your strength of schedule didn't matter, because your strength of schedule did matter. They had you ranked as the 11th best team in the country. It's the format that your buddy Greg Sankey signed his ass off on to let Boise State and Arizona State and Clemson in here. It's not the committee. How about you don't lose to Vanderbilt and Oklahoma, 6-win teams? How about you not do that? So I'm tired of hearing, the committee screwed us out. No, they didn't, dude. They have you ranked the 11th best team in the country. It's the format.
And it's most deserving teams too. It's not the best teams outside of the top 4. Yeah, because if it was the best teams, Alabama would be in there.
I agree exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's the formatting on how they did it, because Clemson wouldn't have been in there. Arizona State, they would have, but Bama would have been ranked ahead of them. And those are the 2 teams that screwed them out. Whatever. But so I'm tired of hearing it's the committee's fault. The committee, I think, actually did the best job they did with the format that they have in place. Granted, the only thing I don't agree with is that Boise State should never have a bye. A group of 5 teams should never have a bye. I know that their only loss was on a game-winning kick to the number 1 team in the country. I don't give a shit, bro. Like, that was week 2. So if they want to do the 12-team playoff, fine. I'm fine with that. And I don't have a problem with automatic bids. I agree with you, Jake, that the automatic bid should stay. The automatic buys, that's a bunch of bullshit. I agree with Tyler and you on that as well. And I think there's one more thing that needs to happen. So in this scenario, I think it just needs to be like the NFL playoffs. If they really want to do 12-team structure like this, so instead of like Oregon playing the 8 or 9 seed, let's say they reseed it after the first round. So it would be like whoever the lowest rated seed is that advances into the first round. So let's say all the favorites win. Who would that be? That would be SMU, or that would be Indiana or whoever.
Ohio State.
It'd be Ohio
Would it
State.
be Ohio State? Okay. Well, let's say there was one upset with either SMU or Indiana, the 11 or the 10 seed. They should be the one that has to play Oregon next.
Play Oregon, yeah.
If that makes sense. Like you're just
I see what you mean.
Instead of like, congratulations, Oregon, you ran the table your entire season. You won the second hardest conference in the entire country. And your reward is you get to play the winner of Tennessee and Ohio State. What the is that? I'm sorry. Yeah. That's bullshit. Pardon my French. I know Tyler's going to cut that out. But I just – it's like congratulations for what? You know, like that – I don't understand that. And don't get me wrong. Like it should look like what Georgia's having to go through. More like that left side of the bracket is stacked.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but those were just kind of my thoughts on the 12-team playoff. So yeah, anything else to add as far as format goes or seeding, anything like that?
Tyler, you go ahead.
I mean, the only thing I was going to say is if you reseed it, I think it just complicates things. I'm a fan of knowing what game you have to watch to know who you're going to play, instead of having a shock. So, like you said, say there is an upset. Let's say Clemson does beat Texas in the first round. In this scenario, and you can go ahead and prepare that you're going to play the winner of Ohio State and Tennessee. But then you might have to turn around a week later and say, "Oh shit, we have to completely change the game plan that we had already had in place or have been planning for these two teams and re-game plan for a whole nother team." I don't think that's. I don't know. I think I don't like the way the NFL does it, and I don't think it would work very well here. I think you're not going to see best performances that you can because you might have to turn around and re-game plan for a whole other game. And then
there's also – go ahead, Tyler. Sorry.
No, go ahead. This is a whole other point.
No, I was just going to say on your point that if you do – I like that format just because it's fair, right, for Oregon, for Georgia. But if these teams in the bye week, they have 3 weeks off. They're not just consistent. I mean – they're looking at SMU, or Boise State's looking at SMU and Penn State. That's who they're looking at. They're preparing for both of these teams. They have 3 weeks off. They have plenty of time to prepare for both teams. If they get screwed over and then they got to play, I don't know, Clemson, then it's a whole different story. And the NFL, there's not as much turnaround.
See, but then you said that you're a fan of the automatic the bye. Or who said that? Somebody said that.
No, I said I'm not a fan of the automatic bye. I'm a fan of the automatic bid into the league.
Okay.
The playoff. Now, I think that teams should get rewarded with buys, as in like Georgia and Oregon.
Yeah, but I mean, regardless, if you reseed it and something like that were to happen, it takes away your advantage of having a bye.
Or if you,
other than the rest,
like getting a bye is rewarding, yes, but I would say Oregon getting to play Clemson at home and Georgia getting to play SMU at home would be pretty rewarding too if you did it 1 versus 12, 2 versus 11, and so forth.
That's true.
I mean, nobody has a bye, but
there's a
lot of things. Yeah.
And here's the thing. Not everybody's going to be happy. Somebody's going to get pissed off. There's always going to be a group. But I do know that what they have right now is just not – I just don't agree with it. I'm sorry. Because as much as I hate to say this, like I think Tennessee, like they're more deserving of a bye than – I'm not saying that they've earned a bye, but like I just don't agree with Boise State. Like that shit pisses me off. I just don't agree with it. I'm sorry, bro. You played Wyoming and Colorado State.
Yep.
I'm like, I can't get behind that. But enough bitching. Let's fill this out.
Yeah.
All right. We'll just do first round right now.
Are we doing is this like a preview of the games or are we just filling it out?
We'll do a preview as we go along. Obviously, we're not going to preview hypothetical games. So we'll preview the first.
Yeah.
We'll preview the 4 games.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. All right. We'll start with the top left. 8 seed Ohio State hosting 9 seed Tennessee. I will say one thing I really do like about the 12-team playoff is home games on campus. Just as God intended. Home games on campus. None of this neutral site BS. All right. Well, there's a lot of stuff to look into when you're breaking down these two teams. I think I know that you two have some thoughts about Ryan Day and his job security. So that's going to play a factor into this. And then you got Aniko Iamaliava struggled at the beginning of the year, or he looked really good against his non-con, got in the conference play, did not look like the same player, but the guy's starting to pick up some confidence. I think he's got like 11-1 touchdown interception ratio towards the end of the season after that Georgia game. He's starting to pick up steam. You got the SEC Player of the Year, Dylan Sampson at tailback. This is going to be probably the best game, I'd say, out of the four that we have for the first round. And Jake, Tyler, whoever wants to kick it off, go ahead and kind of break down what you see and then pick a winner, and we'll move on.
Jake, go
Tyler,
ahead.
you can go. All right, you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree that this will be maybe the best game. I won't say it's going to be the best game. I think Clemson and Texas is going to be better than people think it's going to be, considering it's a double-digit spread on that one. But anyways, it's win or go. I mean, it's win or get fired for Ryan Day. If Tennessee beats them at home in a playoff game, I just saw on social media today they're doing like a drone show, a light show, and all this jazzy shit. If you can't beat Tennessee at home and advance, he is gone. If I'm an Ohio State fan, if that son of a bitch does not beat Tennessee, he's out of it. Like you bought the roster. You had the best roster on paper in the country, arguably. Like there's no excuses at this point. You played in big games. Your guys should be prepared. You didn't have to play in conference championship week. You knew it was going to be Oregon or Penn State, two teams that you've played. It's time to like buckle up. Like it's must win for them. But for Tennessee, I think Tennessee. What's the spread on this game? Is it a touchdown?
7.5.
7.5.
Currently, FanDuel, no free ads, of course.
I think Tennessee has a very favorable path to winning this game. Yes, going on the road thing, that's hard. It's hard to do, hard to win in a place like that. Night, it's going to be cold. But if, like you said, Nico's been playing better down the stretch. I think if they can run the ball, if Dylan Sampson can get going, they can win this game. Michigan ran for 172 yards against them. They did not throw the ball and beat them at their place. Michigan just ran the ball all game. And then Oregon, when they played Oregon rushed for 155 yards. In both of these are their two losses. So if Dylan Sampson can get going, and Nico, a problem with him all year has been when he's got guys downfield, those shots plays, those explosives, he overthrows them every single time. There were like 3 or 4 in the Alabama game that he missed. Like they could have won. They could have beat Alabama by 2 touchdowns. They really could have, if he connects on 2 of those deep balls. But that's my point. If they can run the ball and Nico can game manage and then off of play action, get a deep shot down the field and get some momentum going, Ohio State's in trouble. I'll take Tennessee with the points, but Ohio State to win. I will be rooting for Tennessee, SEC, baby. So, Tyler?
Yeah, going off of that, I think that Tennessee's rush offense is going to be way too much for Ohio State, like you said. Ohio State haven't had a terrible rush defense. They're allowing almost 100 yards per game, but Tennessee's rushing offense is averaging 232 yards per game. I mean, Dylan Sampson is a stud. He's a good ball player, and I think that on paper, Ohio State should win this game. They have the roster that should absolutely run away with this one, but I think that Tennessee has an offense that's going to be too much for Ohio State to handle. Tennessee defensively is not very bad either. I mean, they average giving up around 275 per game. Ohio State is a little bit better offensively, or defensively, but I think that's just because of the conferences they play in and who they play. I think Tennessee wins this game by. I almost want to say Tennessee wins it by a touchdown themselves.
Interesting. Look, guys, Ohio State's in wounded animal mode. Everybody's wrote them off. And at first, Jake, I thought you were going to say if Ryan Day doesn't win the national championship that he was going to get fired, which you still might stand by that.
He is.
But I agree. If he loses this game to Tennessee at home, he's gone. I agree with that. Or at least it's really going to be, that seat's going to be hotter than you know what. I'm not going to go there. Anyways, point is, I think when teams are moving in animal mode, like Ohio State is, everybody's wrote them off. Tennessee down the stretch has looked really good. I think it's going to be the best game out of all four. I think the Clemson Texas game is also going to be good, but I think from wire to wire, first quarter to fourth quarter, it's going to come down to if Tennessee starts out hot or not. If Tennessee starts out hot, I think they got a pretty good shot at winning.
Yeah.
If they don't, I think it's going to be a competitive four-quarter game. The only thing that really draws concern for me is that Josh Heupel, as a head coach at Tennessee, they have historically been bad going on the road. And this is the first night game that Ohio State has had, I think, at all at home this season, because they finished, 7 or 8 straight games in a row on Big Noon. The fans got to show up. But I will say, if Tennessee starts out fast, what are the odds that the fans turn on Ohio State during the game? Just start booing Ryan Day out of the building. It could happen.
Wouldn't be surprised. And that was something I was going to say off your point about Tennessee starting fast. If you could get Ohio State in a position where Will Howard has to throw, you're in a great spot. If at any point in the game he has to throw the ball, you're in a good spot because he kind of just like, it's like Carson Beck at times early in the season. He just sees ghosts. Like, what is this dude doing? What's he thinking? So if they were to start out fast, like you said, it's a big deal. And the noise thing, the crowd, Tennessee plays in the loudest stadiums in the country. So how much is that going to impact them?
Yeah, we'll see. I know that question, who would you rather have to win a national championship today? Will Howard or Nico Iamaleava? We're not talking scheme. We're not talking
team or just the player.
No, we're just talking about the player.
Nico.
The player, Nico.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't want scheme or coach or team anywhere around. The player. Who did you choose? Y'all both chose Nico. I'm going to take Ohio State to win this game. And I guess I'll lay the 7.5. I think they'll win by 10 because I just can't trust Heupel on the road. Ryan Day, wounded animal mode, literally coaching for his job. Tennessee secondary has been the biggest concern for them all year. I think it's the weakest part of their team. And when you're going up against the receiving core at the Ohio State University, it's gonna be tough. We'll see. Then don't break, right? I think it's gonna be the best game though. Moving on, we'll go to the bottom left. We got 12-seeded Clemson stealing a bid from Alabama. How about that? Dabo is back. Going to Austin, Texas, taking on Texas Shorthorns, who cannot beat Georgia for the save their lives. Cade Klubnik, undefeated against Quinn Ewers in his career in high school. Interesting note. I don't think it has anything to do with this game, but maybe a little psychological advantage. I will say, though, everybody's kind of writing off Clemson, but Dabo has been here before. This guy's won 2 national championships. I'm not saying the team's as good, but does Clemson have the coaching edge in this game? Because, hang on, I'll get there. I'll lead in with that. But Dabo's been there before. The team's hot, just coming up, luck their way in. Thanks to Fran Brown and Syracuse, they are in. And I think Sark, like, what are you going to do? Are they going to play Arch more? Are they going to start him? I don't think they're going to start him, but is he going to play more? Texas has got the dudes on defense. I don't think the defense is the problem. They got the skill positions out wide. Their offensive line has looked good all year, except for the only time they haven't looked good is when they played Georgia. Clemson's the second best team they have played all year. They're going to be the second best defense that they've played all year. I'm not calling for the upset right now, but I think this game the spread is way too big. 11.5 is too much. Jake, I want you to start and answer my question. Who's got the coaching advantage in this game? Clemson or Texas?
I could argue that Clemson has the biggest coaching advantage on the entire left side of the bracket. Am I wrong to say that?
I
could
don't
argue
that's an argument for sure, and
there's few teams in this bracket you don't want to see. Obviously, the country. I'm not saying it's just because of a Georgia fan. Nobody wants to see Georgia right now because of their coach. The way that in the past that their coach has them ready to play in these type of moments. Same thing with Dabo. I would not want to play Clemson right now, even at home. Kay Klubnik's starting to figure it out. I went and looked at some of his stats from this year. He's only thrown 5 picks. He doesn't turn the ball over much. When he uses his legs, he's dangerous. And I think they can exploit that with Phil Maffa against this Texas defense. Like Georgia, ETN, I think, went for 75, and Frazier went for 50 last week. We did not struggle running the ball against Texas, so it's possible. Hunter's not going to do it. I don't know if Tyler's going to do it, but I'm calling the Clemson upset. I think Clemson beats Texas and advances. Texas has not had to play anybody besides Georgia, and when they have, you could argue there's both games they should have won. The first time around, Carson Beck threw 3 interceptions. They should have won that game, and they got beat by 2 touchdowns. In this past week, and I was at the game in the first quarter. It was we went down 6-0, and I looked at my buddy. I'm like, this is not going to end well. It's going to be 27-10. We're going to get beat. It's after the first quarter, they're a different team. So I'm going to take Clemson.
They shit down their leg whenever they got in the red zone. They could not get it in the end zone.
Old Bert.
So, but yeah, I think Kay Klubnik has a big game. Dabo definitely got to have them. I mean, they're pumped. They have nothing to lose. They did not expect to be here week 8, 9 at that point. Everybody was Miami, SMU. I think Clemson gets the win here. Dabo is so back. I hate Clemson, but this is awesome. I'm riding with it. Dabo's getting it done.
One thing, this is the only counterpoint that I have to your statement. It's not that I disagree with anything that you said, just a counterpoint. So I know we just said that Texas is the second best team that they've played this year. But who's the best team that Clemson's played? South Carolina?
Georgia?
Oh, they did play Georgia. Sorry. Who's the best team that Clemson beat this year? SMU. Everybody else, I mean.
Who's the best team Texas beat?
Yeah, no, I know. That's what I'm saying. But, okay. They kept it both times. Well, not the first time, but the second time, Texas at least kept it close to Georgia. I'm not, like I said, I'm not disagreeing with anything you said, but I'm looking here. It's in App State, NC State, Stanford, Florida State, Wake Forest, Virginia. They got their ass kicked by Louisville at home. Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh, Citadel. Only lost by 3 at home against South Carolina, and then they beat SMU. So there is I feel like there's not a huge gap between the best team yes, Texas hasn't played anybody except for Georgia, but Clemson, I mean, they played Georgia week 1, which was an eternity ago, and then South Carolina, SMU, kind of just weighing that in there as well. I don't think that they haven't had a good win except for SMU, if you want to count that as a good win. That's all I was going to say.
And I think if they came out today and named Arch the starter, I would feel different about it. I really would. I just don't think Quinn Ewers is that good. I really don't. He doesn't have that it factor about him that makes me believe that he can take this team and win a national championship at all. Which you could argue that for a lot of these teams in this bracket, but Texas is supposed to be this top 3 or 4 team that's just a swinging dick. They're not with Quinn Ewers as a quarterback. I really don't think they are.
Tyler?
Yeah, I hear what you guys are saying, or what Jake's really saying, but I don't think this Clemson team's all that great. I do agree that they have a huge coaching advantage. Like you said, Dabo's been here before. He's it's scary to play Dabo in the playoffs first round, even if you are at home. But I can't give it to Clemson, dude. They haven't played, like y'all just said, anybody. I mean, I don't think that whenever SMU is that impressive. I don't think SMU is that great anyways. I think the ACC is super weak. They lost to a good South Carolina team by 3, but, I mean, it's a loss. They got blown out by Louisville. I don't know if y'all watched that game, but Louisville smoked them. I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
close.
that's what I was saying. It's like the score says 33-21, but that was an ass beating. Like,
Yeah, it
not
was.
that close.
It was. And I think, and I know Texas hasn't really played anybody either, besides Georgia, but I don't know. I think Texas has too good of a roster. They have a better roster than Clemson does. I think we can all agree on that. And I think that their talent is going to outweigh Clemson's. Probably coaching would be their strong suit in this game. And I just think their talent will outweigh Clemson's coaching. I've got Texas advancing.
I also have Texas advancing. And I think a common theme that I'm just going to not start using, but like truthfully look at when I'm looking at all these games and potential games, is like, all right, coaching, talent acquisition. Those are the two biggest roles in college football, is who your coach is, who your staff is, and then how well you are at assessing and getting talent on your team. So that's going to probably be a common theme, I know, for most of us. But I'm going to pick Texas. I'm going to take Clemson with I think it's 12.5 now, maybe 11.5. I do think they'll keep it within 10 for sure. But I am going to take Texas to win. The defense is just too good. Like, what's the best defense Cade Klubnik beat this year? Genuinely, like, who is the best defense that
I'd have to look
this year? Okay,
might be.
Is it Pittsburgh?
It's probably Pittsburgh. Yeah,
Pittsburgh or SMU, like crazy. Yeah. And I think the individual player on Texas is better than an individual. Obviously, it's better than the individual player, but like, and then you just put a bunch. I don't know. The talent on the Texas defense, I think, is just going to outweigh. Jake, as far as piggybacking off you for Quinn Ewers, I think I'm just going to go out on a limb and make a little bold take here. This is a big if, though. Do y'all think Quinn is going to go to the draft, or do you think he knows he might need to stay around for one more year?
I think he knows, but at the same time, it's like, if you go to the draft now, you might be a late round pick. If you go to the draft next year, you might just be giving them more time to realize you suck. So,
you think he's in a Jake Fromm position? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I think right now he could probably be a third round pick, maybe a late second round. Somebody's going to fall in love with this guy, like the New Orleans Saints, shitty organization. But just hear me out. If he decides to stay, he won't, like, Texas is going to tell him, all right, well, you can play college football, but it's just not going to be here, man. We're going to move on. We're going to take Arch. Tell me that Dan Lanning wouldn't pick up a fifth-year Quinn Ewers to go be his quarterback next year.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That'd be awful.
Just think about it. Bo Nix, Dylan Gabriel, Quinn Ewers.
Cam Rising could go to Oregon.
Dude, if that guy steps on field for a college football team next year, I'll be pissed. But
he has another year. He does.
8 year, baby.
All right, so did we all three pick Ohio State?
Tyler picked Tennessee.
I picked Tennessee.
You picked Tennessee, and then me and Tyler picked Texas. You picked Clemson. Okay. So let's move on to Indiana versus Notre Dame. Fun fact, first Notre Dame home game played at Notre Dame Stadium that will be broadcasted on any network not named NBC since 1990. That's literally insane. So no Mike Tirico on the call, sad. One of the best play-by-play announcers, in my opinion. But Kurt Signetti, hey, 11-1, got it done with a week strength of schedule. Coach Sig, this is an in-state matchup. Crazy to think about this. This is the most expensive first-round ticket out of all 4 games.
Aren't they like insane? Like $700?
The cheapest ticket is like $735 to get into Notre Dame, Indiana. The cheapest ticket to get in Ohio State, Tennessee is $230.
That's a good deal.
Because I looked at it. I was like, dude, who the hell would choose Notre Dame, Indiana over? And I get it. Like, Notre Dame's got the fan base. They got all the old timers and a lot of the Midwestern states. Like, they just cheer for Notre Dame. But looking at this game, man, a lot of people wrote off Notre Dame after the week 2 loss to Northern Illinois. Terrible loss. A lot of people arguing that, look, I don't care if they go 11-1. They should not get in with a loss right there. And yet they're hosting a home playoff game. No conference, not needed. Just play a weak ACC schedule with both service academies and a few MAC schools, one SEC opponent, you get in. Hosting a playoff game, cross-state opponent. I'm not going to say rival, but interesting coaching matchup here. Marcus Freeman never coached in the college football playoff before, but he has had a tenure of success, like a lot of wins under his belt at Notre Dame. I'd argue that this is his best team he's had at Notre Dame. Maybe not like player for player, but like obviously success-wise, but probably the best defense he's had. Benjamin Morrison's dog, Xavier Watts, dog. That defensive back, that secondary is elite. The Jeremiah Love, who's better, him or Dylan Sampson? I think those are the best two backs in the playoff right now. The run game's good. Riley Leonard, he's ran for about double-digit touchdowns this year. He's been very good. Can he throw? Can he? Are they going to have to throw? That's what I'll start with, Jake. How many points does Notre Dame need to beat Indiana?
13. I'm being serious. I like 10-13. I think they're just going to smother them. This fan base has been waiting on this moment. Oh my God. I think that Notre Dame smothers them. I'd say 24-10 Notre Dame. They might not score 10. I'm a huge fan of the under. I don't care what the number is. Give me the under. But I don't think they're going to have to throw. Riley Leonard uses his legs, throw the ball about 10 times, give that thing to Jeremiah Love, let him run. And like you said, Notre Dame's secondary is insane. Like, better have something up his sleeve for this secondary and for this environment. Like, we'll see.
Over
is
under
Curtis Roy? Is Curtis Roy 51.5?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Is Curtis Roy? Is he fully healthy? Is that
I would think so. I just think the only counterpoint to Indiana, like this is where I think push is going to come to shove, is if Indiana can run the ball. Indiana's 56th in the country in yards per attempt on the ground, and Notre Dame has the 56th best rush defense in the country, so they're both right there in the middle, and they're the same rank. So I think that's a pretty interesting matchup. If Indiana can get the ground game going, I think like it could be a little competitive. The spread's 7.5. So Vegas not seeing this being more than a 1.5 possession game. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Jake said that Notre Dame has to score 13 to win this game. I was going to say 14, so I think we're on the same page there. I don't think that Indiana can play with a team like Notre Dame. Indiana likes to throw the ball. They're ranked 41st in the country in passing yards per game. But that secondary from Notre Dame is disgusting. So I think that Indiana struggles to score, and Notre Dame's going to run the ball down their throat. I think Notre Dame wins this game by 2 scores, maybe 3.
Interesting. I'm looking here for you, Jake. Your original score prediction, what was it? 13-7. You can get the under 20.5 at plus 3,500 if you'd like.
Wow.
I'm looking for the team totals on this game, just out of curiosity to see like kind of what. Okay, here we go. All right, so Vegas is projecting a 31-21 game. There you go. Or 31-20 game, I should say, rather. Right there at the 51.5 mark. So I'm going to take Notre Dame to win this game as well. I did tell Tyler before it started, though, that I think Indiana does have a chance of a few things go their way. They do have I don't know. Can you play good defense? Like, if you can stop the run, you have a chance of beating Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to.
I mean, I'd want to get in a shootout with them.
Would ask USC how that worked out.
That's true.
But I think it just comes down to both for Indiana. If they want a path to win this game, it's going to come to their success on the run game and how well they can stop the run on defense. But give me Notre Dame, and I'll take Indiana plus the 7.5 just to make it a little interesting. Because I could definitely see this game being 9-6 or 9-3. Like, it's gonna be what's the weather gonna be like in it? 4 degrees?
Same thing like it is now. Cold.
Yeah. Moving on to another cold game. Oh, I think this is gonna be the one. This is gonna be the first round matchup where people are like, why? This is where all the Gump fans are gonna be like, oh, that should have been us. We should have been the 11 seed. Shut the hell up. Don't lose to Vandy. We got the boys from Fort Worth, Texas, the SMU Ponies, traveling all the way up to State College, Pennsylvania. It is going to be 15 degrees. I've already looked at this one. It's going to be 15 degrees at noon on Saturday the 21st. You try and tell me them boys from Texas are going to be able to play in that cold weather? Hell no. Give me Penn State. I'll just go ahead and make my prediction right now. Give me Penn State. I'll lay the 8.5. I think they win this game by 10 plus.
Yeah, I'm with you, Hunter. Same thing. I'll take Penn. But then again, though, that factor with James Franklin, it's another big game. It's not against Michigan. It's not against Ohio State. It's not against Oregon. But it's a win or go home game. That matters. We haven't seen him. He has not proved that he can win one. So I think it's a low scoring game. It's going to be cold. I haven't really subject to change. I'll take SMU to cover, but Penn State to win.
I would still take James Franklin over Rhett Lashley, bro. I'm sorry. And not that I think Rhett Lashley is a good coach. I really do. But I don't foresee it. They ain't got the guys. I'm going to be honest. I was very impressed with Penn State's offensive performance against Oregon in the Big Ten Championship. I was not expecting them to drop that many. And I think that's going to carry over. I can't believe I'm saying this. Tyler, I know you don't want to talk, but I got to own up to something to my boy Jake, because in the preseason I told him I was not a Drew Hauer believer. That guy looks really good. He looks really good. He's one of those guys in the draft. A team's going to be like, God, that guy's got really big hands, and he looks like a quarterback, and they're going to fall in love with him. But that's all I had. Tyler.
I told you, just give it time, baby. Just give it time.
If Tyler's got anything to add.
Yeah, I would just say that I think that Penn State has more talent than SMU, obviously, and a better coach. And I don't care if it's a big game or not. It's the first round of the playoffs, and they're playing SMU. James Franklin will have those boys ready. I think they win by 2 or 3 scores. I think SMU does not stand a chance here.
Yeah, so there we go. Talent acquisition, coaching advantage.
Yep.
Oh, speaking of, who has the coaching advantage in Indiana, Notre Dame? Genuine question. I know who has the talent advantage. Notre Dame definitely has the talent advantage.
Who has the talent and the coaching advantage?
I'll tell you which coach I like more. I like more though. I like Indiana's coach a lot better.
Oh, Coach Sig is a boss.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Yeah, he's a boss. All right, so we all picked Penn State. We all picked Notre Dame.
Yep.
All right, so we'll stay on the right side of the bracket to make things a little less complicated here. So we all have Georgia versus Notre Dame. Obviously, I don't want to go into like hypothetical, like I don't want to like break down games here because it could not happen. But if you had to choose a winner in this game, who would you take? Oh, I know who you two would take, but go ahead, Jake.
Georgia.
Tyler.
Georgia.
Okay. Hypothetical spread straight from FanDuel Sportsbook would be Georgia minus 1.5 in the Sugar Bowl. Crazy.
Okay.
There's a little story for the Georgia fans in this game. So, last quarterback to go down in the season had to come in and make his first start on the road at Notre Dame. Led his team all the way to won the SEC. Went on to play for a national championship in Atlanta, where this year's national championship is. Ended up coming up a little one play short in the overtime. Just throwing that out there. It could happen. Jake, a little Georgia Bulldog trivia for you. When was the last time that Georgia and Notre Dame met on a neutral site?
I don't have a clue.
The 1980 Sugar Bowl, where Georgia won the national championship.
Never would have got
So
that.
they would meet in New Orleans again.
Hey, what have I always said on this damn podcast?
History tends to repeat itself.
History tends to freaking repeat itself, baby.
I would take Georgia, just talent acquisition and coaching. You give Mike Bobo and Kirby Smart and that entire staff 24 days to prepare, or 1 week of rest, but you still get 2 full weeks, I would say, right? But wouldn't it be 2 weeks or maybe a week? I don't know, of getting a game plan ready for Gunner Stockton, because Carson Beck's not coming back. Unfortunate. I never want to see somebody get injured. But Gunner coming in, seeing the team rally behind him, brought a new juice. I'm not saying it's because the kid's better. I feel like if he was better, he would have been playing already. But it definitely brought a juice. It brings a new element to the team. And I think that can at least get them 1 playoff win, maybe 2. Potentially, they can carry the momentum all the way to a national championship. So I'll take Georgia in that hypothetical game as well. So we have Penn State versus Boise State. Who's going to be the dumbass and the Ashton Genty Glazer to pick Boise State? Who's going to do it?
Not me.
I'm not either. Praise God. I had 4 people in my office pick Boise State to beat Penn State.
4 people picked Boise State to beat Penn State.
Yes, in my office. Oh, who's got the echo? It's gone. Okay, it's gone. No, 4 people in my office picked Boise State to beat Penn State. They glazed Genty very hard, which we'll get to in a little bit. All right, so we all have Penn State versus Georgia. Hypothetical game. This would be in the Orange Bowl. Drew Aller.
No, this is the Cotton Bowl.
No, it's the Orange Bowl.
This thing right here says it'd be the Cotton Bowl. What the hell?
It's the Orange Bowl.
It is the Orange Bowl. No, you're good. You're good. All good.
Dumbass.
Georgia, Penn State, Orange Bowl, hypothetical matchup. Hey, Tyler.
Georgia.
Coaching advantage. This is where James Franklin shits his pants. Like he's playing a really good team. He's playing 2 teams that he should beat. Like he wins games that he's favored in. He loses games that he's not supposed to win. Big game, coaching advantage. Yeah, I would take Georgia. Yeah, just strictly based off that.
Yeah, Georgia.
All right, moving on to the next side of the bracket. Jake, you and I picked Ohio State, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so me and you can go first. Ohio State, Oregon rematch. Hypothetical spread. Oregon -2, according to FanDuel. This would be in the Rose Bowl. You didn't even have to do away with the Pac-12 to get a Pac-12 Big Ten matchup in the Rose Bowl. How about that shit? I'm going to go out on a limb and take the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I'm with you. Ohio State.
I would take the Buckeyes. Wounded animal mode, momentum, rematch. I'm taking Ohio State. I just think they're going to carry momentum. And Tyler, you had Tennessee traveling coast to coast against the Ducks. Who'd you take?
I took Oregon.
Okay, got Oregon. Fan favorite pick. Okay, Tyler, you and I picked Texas, correct? All right. Yeah. This would be the Peach Bowl. Texas is haunted in Mercedes-Benz this year. Haunted. And they're playing Cam Scatterbo. Elite offensive running back. Love watching him play. Great story this year. I'm going to go with talent and coaching in this matchup and give me Texas to advance to the semifinals.
Yep, I also have Texas for the same reason.
Okay. And Jake, you have Clemson, Arizona State, and I know where this one's going.
Dabo's back, baby, to the Final Four. I got Clemson advancing.
All right. So we already did Georgia, Penn State. So now we got so me and Jake got Ohio State. You got Ohio State, Clemson. Who would you take, Jake?
I would take Ohio State.
take Ohio State. Okay.
Oh, this is subject to change. I hate saying this out loud, but yeah, for right now, I'll say Ohio State.
Okay, Tyler, you got Oregon versus Texas.
Yeah, I've got Oregon.
You got Oregon, okay, and I've got Ohio State taking on Texas. Give me the Buckeyes, man, in the Cotton Bowl in Texas. There it is. So I got Ohio State. I'm sticking with my preseason pick. I can't shy away from it now when it's still on the table.
I think, are we all?
Wait, you got – yeah, we all still have our preseason picks because me and Jake both had Ohio State, Georgia, and Tyler had Oregon versus Georgia.
Yep.
So who you got with what color confetti you got raining down in Atlanta this year, Jake?
Well, another team haunted in Mercedes-Benz is Ohio State. So the Dogs get their third of the past 4 years.
So you're trying to tell me that Gunnar Stockton and Kirby Smart are going to avenge the Jake Fromm Atlanta National Championship?
Oh, yeah.
Because, Kirby Smart already avenged the Justin Fields fake punt in the FCC Championship.
Yeah.
It's been avenged. It's no longer with us. It's forgotten. Thanks, Aaron Smith and Jake Bobo. All right, Tyler, what color confetti's coming down in Atlanta?
This is going to be subject to change once I see how Gunnar Stockton plays, but I think that green confetti will be raining.
Man, wouldn't that be something? Dan Lanning's first game as a head coach was in Mercedes-Benz Stadium against Georgia, and they got their asses kicked. They had to tell Georgia to go into the locker room at halftime, or else they would have just kept scoring. They scored on every offensive drive they had. That was bad. And then if it became full circle and he avenges 3 years later, gets the win at the stadium for it all, that would be crazy. I got God, I can't believe I'm saying this shit. Subject to change. Because right now in pencil, I got down Georgia. But I'm picking Ryan Day and the Buckeyes on this show. I'm sticking with my preseason pick, dude. I think they're just going to ride the wave. They're going to – actually, no. I picked Georgia on my bracket in pencil, and I'm sticking with it. I'm flipping back. And
that's a hell of a path. They're going to have to go Tennessee, Oregon,
no, that's what I was
Texas,
getting to. That's what
Georgia.
I was going to get to. Is that, Jake, and we brought this up in the first episode we ever did in this podcast, or the first playoff in the preseason. I said somebody is going to – if it comes down to a team with a first-round bye and a team that's had a run a gauntlet, I think the team with the bye is going to have the advantage. They have that extra, 10 days of rest. And I think that's going to happen right here. I think that the team with the bye, and if Ohio State has to beat Tennessee, Oregon, and Texas – and then their final gauntlet is Georgia, I can't see it happening. That's why. But I think Gunnar Stockton avenges it, bro. And then Carson Beck's going to be the starting quarterback at Miami next year.
No.
Yeah, bro. He is. Watch. He has another year of eligibility. He has his COVID year. You trying to tell me that guy's going to get Tommy John and then go risk being a 6th or 7th round pick in the NFL draft? Because he's already 3rd, 4th projected right now.
Who was the quarterback that did that recently?
I don't know.
There was another quarterback that had to get Tommy John surgery and ended up getting drafted.
Maybe. But I don't see him risking that when he ended the season so well and he knows he has another season left and he's going to get Tommy John. I don't see him wanting to drop to the 5th, 6th, 7th round. I see him.
Even if whatever happens with Georgia, if we don't win the national championship with Gunnar, I think Carson would just, if he doesn't go to the draft, he'll just come back to Georgia and run it back.
Well, then Gunnar's going to leave. And then, dude, that would just talk about throwing a wrench into your recruiting plan at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
That would do it. But, all right, so I got Georgia, Jake's got Georgia, and Tyler has got the Ducks. Not cutting down the nets. It's not basketball with the confetti raining down in Atlanta. All right. Well, that's college football playoff. I'll bring us all back together here. The Heisman finalists got announced.
Snub.
It was Travis Hunter, Ashton Genty, Cam Ward, and Dylan Gabriel. Dylan Gabriel gets the nod for being the best being the quarterback on the best team. He got the Stetson Bennett nod from last year. Should they take 5 people or should they stick with 4? And I know it's not that big of a deal, but like, who were the biggest snubs?
Shedeur.
I agree, Shedeur.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I just don't. I think the number argument, like, why are people taking time out of their day to argue about how many people are going to be at this award ceremony when in reality, each year there's 2 people that we think are going to win it. Like, why don't we just send Genty and Hunter? Like, why are we giving Gabriel and who was the other one? Cam Ward?
Yeah.
Yeah, why? We're just giving them a participation award? Like, no, just send the 2 that we know we're going to win it. Nobody's calling, oh my God, Cam Ward's going to win the Heisman. No, the hell he's not. Send the 2 best guys up there and pick one. This award is just way too over talked about and blown out of proportion. Like, I don't give a shit. Let's watch the bowls. Let's get this playoff going. The Heisman's in the back of my mind. That's me personally, though. It's just way too blown out of proportion.
I get it, but who do you think should win it, Jake? If you had a vote, who would you vote for?
If I had a vote, I don't know. Come back to me. I'll answer once y'all talk on this because I hadn't thought about that.
I'm not. I don't want to get into a 20-minute argument, but I know it's going to happen. Tyler,
Screw it. I'll say it. Ashton Genty should be the Heisman winner.
Travis Hunter should be the Heisman winner. Jake, he doesn't want
now.
He don't.
Now I gotta break the tie. I don't want to pick this guy's name. I don't want to pick it at all. Like, I mean, Travis Hunter.
Yes.
I like Genty and what he's doing, but we've seen the numbers before. If he was in the Power 4 conference, I would say Genty.
Me too. 100%.
100% I would, but he's not. I mean, he ran against San Jose State. What was the best defense he ran? Yeah, like, come on.
Okay, he did have one good game against Oregon.
Yeah, he did, 100%.
But he's not doing that week in and week out.
Yeah. And I think it sucks that he's been hurt a little bit this year, too. Doesn't he have, like, a broken elbow or something? He's still putting up insane numbers. Like, when he puts up when you get on SportsCenter the next day and you're like, damn, Genty only had 150 yards. That's how good he is. So, yeah, I'd have to give it to Travis Hunter. Yep.
Tyler, I don't
actually. I'm gonna go back on that. I'm gonna change it up. I'm gonna go Genty. Here's if Boise State did not have Ashton Genty, they wouldn't even be in the conversation to be in the playoff. If Colorado didn't have Travis Hunter, they still have Shedeur Sanders, they still have LaJohntay Wester, they still have Jimmy Horn, and they still have Deion Sanders, who y'all think is the greatest gift from God ever. So I think I'm gonna go Genty.
Yeah, I have the same argument. Genty's carried his team to the number 9 team in the country in a first-round bye. And like Jake said, I mean, Colorado has other weapons, and they probably still wouldn't be in the playoff if they didn't have Travis Hunter. So, I mean, yeah, what the guy's doing is special, and we haven't really seen anything like that ever. But I'm going to take probably the best running season from a running back ever. I mean, he's got a little bit more to go, but I'm going to take him over Travis Hunter, who's had a pretty good year on both sides of the ball, but Ashton Genty has week in and week out been dominant.
And if Travis Hunter was not, like, you can name a better cornerback than Travis Hunter, and you can name a better receiver than Travis Hunter in college football right now.
Yeah. I think which one of y'all said Dylan Sampson's the best running back in the playoff right now? Because that was wrong.
Oh, I forgot that Ashton Genty existed.
Yeah,
he said these are Jeremiah Love and Dylan Sampson are the best 2 backs, and me and Tyler just
I think I meant to say the first round. I think that's what I meant to say is the first. No, but
there you go.
I definitely forgot Ashton Genty existed. I'm going to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Cash Jones, but yeah.
And who?
Cash Jones.
Oh,
we can move on.
Cash Jones. Forgot about him too. Well, I think that's all we got. I'm not gonna go into a 20-minute debate with you two over Ashton Genty and
Well,
Travis.
can you give your stance on it? Like why?
Okay, yeah. So I don't believe somebody from the group of 5 should win the Heisman. They're not playing. I do think the talent composite in the Big 12 is better than the Mountain West. Yeah, and Genty, yes, he's done great. I think they both, if there could be 2 awards, I think it's not that like I'm like diehard Travis Hunter,
Yeah.
but I think it's special that somebody is on the field for every play at the college level in the Power 4, and the one game that Travis Hunter missed, they lost by a touchdown on a route that Avery Johnson threw against Kansas State or against Colorado, where Travis would have been playing. And I'm not saying like that individual play gives him the Heisman, but I think he does have a significant role in that team. Like, I don't think they win 9 games if they don't have Travis Hunter on their team this year. Like, yes, they have Shadur and they do have playmakers, but he's by far the best receiver on that team. I think he's the best, obviously the best defensive player on his team in the conference. There's a lot of people that would take him to play both ways on their teams, even in the SEC. So I think what he's done is more special than Genty. Now, like Jake said, if Genty was doing this against, SEC competition every week, I would 100% take Genty. It would not even be close. But I can't get behind giving the guy who rushes for 200 yards a game against fucking Wyoming and Utah State and New Mexico every week the best player in the country award. Yeah. And you know what? I'm willing to go back on this take if Boise State, like, if they play Penn State in round 2 and Genty goes off and like they win, I'm not against it.
I was literally about to ask you that. I was going to say hypothetical. I know playoffs don't count, but if he were to go for 200 and beat Penn State, does that change your mind?
Yeah. Like, I'm not completely flip. Like, I would probably, because I don't really want to go back on this take completely, but like it would definitely bring me to, it'd be a lot closer. Not that it's not already close, but I would be like, okay, I can get where everybody's coming from. Yeah. I like we talked about when we were discussing the playoff talent composite on a team. The talent composite of running all over a bunch of 1 and 2 stars, it's not my thing. It's like Jake going out playing against a bunch of 10-year-olds and 3-on-3 basketball and dropping 50 points a game. That's kind of the way that I see it. And that's
they're still Division I football players. Like,
I know, I get that, but dude, this guy was getting recruited out, getting tampered with out of the transfer portal from the top of the top in the country. Like, if Ohio State didn't, they tried to get Genty before they got Quinshon Judkins. Like, he's that good. He's a very good player. And he decided to stay at Boise. He made this playoff run. I mean, he got paid a bag to stay. That's where all their NIL money went. But he's that good of a player. But the team that he's playing against compared to, like, the teams that Georgia's playing every week, it's completely different.
I hear you. I think that it's a little discrediting to say like he's playing against a bunch of nobodies. Like, there's still Division I football players in the FBS.
Hey, they're not nobodies, but the talent composite on these rosters are nowhere near the same as the SEC and I think even the ACC or the top level ACC, I should say. But don't get me wrong, there's a lot of Group of 5 players that come up to the Power 5 and do good.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that there's not individuals out there who aren't like that, because I like the Group of 5. Like Tyler Fromm, I used to live with the guy. He did really good at Auburn, came to the Group of 5 and balled out. Like he's, there are individuals out there, but as like a whole team who you're playing against every single week, I think that matters. I wasn't trying to discredit you, Tyler. I know you played.
It didn't hit me personally. I don't know.
No, Tyler, he was talking shit, dude. I don't like that.
All right, enough Heisman talk. Anything else that anybody wants to add?
I'm good.
I'm good as well. All right, Jake, you want to close us out? I know you were practicing this morning.
Yeah, I got you. Go follow us on our socials. Watch this video on YouTube. We don't post on our socials, but We keep saying we're going to like try to get on there and, you know, post some stuff. That's never going to happen. But share this with your friends. Good episode to listen to. YouTube, Apple Podcast, Spotify. We appreciate it. That's podcast 129, episode 18.